Hello, students. Let us continue the class. In our last class, we have studied the first poem, Aggression, and today let us start the first prose which is prescribed for you, that is, My Brother, My Brother. As you all know, I am Abdul Bashir, Assistant Professor, GFGC, Yegati. My Brother is a short story which is written by Norah Burke. And before going to start, let us see once again what is prose. As already I told you about prose in my introductory class, once again let us recapitulate in brief what prose is. You might have come across with the definition or what prose is in your previous classes, but once again let us see it. The prose is a form of literature where the language that exhibits a natural flow of speech and grammatical structure. And in another definition, it is said the ordinary form of spoken or written language without metrical structure. As already I told you when I began the poem Aggression, the important feature of poetry is metrical structure, and the prose in the prose it is absent. There is no metrical structure. This is what we called prose. And when we see about the writer Norah Burke, whose picture you can see at the corner, Norah Burke was born in Bedford on August 2nd, 1997, and her father George Burke was a forest officer and who was working in India. That's why she spent 12 years traveling around the jungle at the foothills of Himalayas. As her father was working in the Himalayan mountain ranges, means in the foothills of Himalayan ranges, who was a forest officer, she had become well acquainted with the life of the tribal people who are living in the foothills of Himalayas. And she was very much interested in writing. That's why she started writing at the age of 8 itself. Now, before starting that prose, My Brother, My Brother, let us see the famous works of Norah Burke. She had written Dark Road, which was published in 1933, and Merry England, which was published in 1934, and Jungle Days in 1935, and Scarlet Vampire in 1936, and then Dreams Come True in 1947, The Awkward Heart in 1944, Gold Temple Bells in 1949. These are the famous works of Norah Burke, and we have taken today, we are going to start a story called My Brother, My Brother, which is a short story written by Norah Burke, which is the outcome of her ample experience of the forest life of the people, tribal people especially. My Brother is a story of a young brave boy who was of 12 years. It says the story says about the conditions of tribal and poor people who lived in the jungle. We know that they don't have facilities of hospitals or any kind of vehicles during that time. Means the situation is better now. They are getting hospital facilities, vehicle facilities, and all. And we will see what kind of situation occurs sometimes. Means in this story, my brother, we will see what kind of situation comes in front sometimes. And when we see the characters, there are four important characters which we come across. One is Sher Singh, who is 12 years protagonist, whose heroic adventure is depicted in this story, who strive very hard to save the life of his younger brother. And the name of that younger brother is Kunwar Singh. He is Sher Singh's younger brother. And there is another character called means mother. Her name is not mentioned in the story. And then another character, Sher Singh Bahadur, who is the father of Sher Singh. We will come across these major four characters in this short story. And when we see the places, the place where our hero Sher Singh was living was Laldwani. And another famous place is Kala Ghat. It is a place where Sher Singh is going by carrying his brother Kunwar to get treatment to his brother, and which is the place Kalaghat is 50 miles away from his village Laldwani. And what is the situation? As I told you that how in this story we will see how sometimes the situation occurs, means a bad situation occurs. What kind of situation they come across? The situation was, once what happened, Sher Singh's brother Kanwar was suffering from stomach pain. Sher Singh, it was a severe pain. Sher Singh and his mother tried a lot to cure Kunwar, but they could not. When his mother said that he must be carried to the hospital at Kalaghat, at that time the brother Sher Singh, he took courage and then he carried his brother Sher Singh, Kunwar Singh, to the hospital in Kalaghat, which was 50 miles away from his village. Sher Singh, let us see the story in detail. Sher Singh was the son of Sher Singh Bahadur. Sher Singh Bahadur. In that area, the Bahadur was the title given, and this Sher Singh's father, Sher Singh, whose name is also Sher Singh, he got the title Bahadur, which means a brave man. And he took that, he became very famous as Shikari, who had got the title Bahadur for his hunting skills. He was a good hunter. That's why people call him Bahadur, courageous man, brave man, ಧೈರ್ಯವಂತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. One day, when his father was away in the jungle on a photographic expedition with some strangers, Sher Singh's younger brother Kunwar fell seriously ill. He got stomach pain. During that time, the elders in the village are the relatives of him were also not there in the house. That's why what the mother of Sher Singh did is, Sher Singh and his mother tried to find the solution for his disease as stomach pain. They tried to treat him, Kunwar, but his stomach pain was not coming down. He became seriously ill. They tried the home remedies, but it could not work. So what that mother felt was that Kunwar had to carry it to the hospital in Kalaghat. But his father was not there in the home, and not the elders were there in the home. They were away from the villages. Father had gone for photographic expedition. What is that photographic expedition? During that time, what happened means, the people, they used to come for photography. They used to take some photographies from the forest. During that time, they cannot go alone in the forest because of the fear of wild animals. That's why what they used to do means, they used to take some hunters with them, some what we call some people who are very much good at hunting, with them as escorts. In the same way, this Sher Singh's father, Sher Singh Bahadur, went for photographic expedition. That is what we call photographic expedition. And that's why what the mother and this Sher Singh decided means, they used to, anyhow, this boy Kunwar has to be hospitalized. He should taken to the hospital. And then his mother ought to look after the cattle and the farming. So Sher Singh decided to carry Kunwar to the hospital. Means his mother was also there in the home. Sher Singh's mother and Kunwar's mother was also there in the home, who was treating with some home remedies. But she could not she could not go take this Kunwar to the hospital, because she had to take care of the cattle and the farming. That's why Sher Singh decided to carry Kunwar to the hospital. Sher Singh's mother made a sling from her sari for Sher Singh to carry his brother. ಸ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಮಗುವನ್ನು ಹಿಂದೆ ಕಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಬಟ್ಟೆಯಿಂದ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲದ ಹೆಣ್ಣುಮಕ್ಕಳು ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ತಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಹಿಂದೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬಟ್ಟೆಯನ್ನು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಬಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ಸ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮದರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಶೇರ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ to carry his brother. In that evening, Sher Singh began the journey to Kalaghat, carrying his brother in the sling, tying him on the back. Kalaghat was at around 50 kilometers, 50 miles away from that place. It was not just how we have hospital facilities in our villages, that if we go around 500 meters we will reach the hospitals. It was not the situation in those areas. The tribal people, they used to suffer a lot. Moreover, there was no transport facility. They had transport facility. Here also we can see the instance of this Sher Singh. They also had the transport facility, but they had to go 50 miles. But this Sher Singh, as his father, he is also very much familiar with the jungle. Their every day-to-day life is spent in forest itself. That's why what this Sher Singh intuition said is, he got an idea that instead of going by vehicle for 50 kilometers, he took a shortcut through the jungle. He decided to go through the jungle, which could be very near. But the difficulty was that, difficulty number one was that he had to cross the forest. There would be some wild animals in the forest. And the second thing is that he had to cross two rivers which come across to reach Kalaghat. And then he thought that after crossing those two rivers, it would be very easy. He will get lift in a passing vehicle. That's why what he decided to go through the shortcut, that is through the jungle, crossing two rivers. 50 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದ್ರ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಶೇರ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಕಾಡಿನ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಾಡಿನ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಅವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಕಟ್ಟನ್ನು ತಗೋತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನು ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು 2 ನದಿಗಳು ಬರ್ತವೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ದಾಟಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅವನು ಅದೇ ನಿರ್ಣಯ ತಗೋತಾನೆ, ಇದೇ ನಾನು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಕಟ್ ರೂಟಿಂದನೇ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಎಂದು ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. While moving through the jungle, his jungle sense helped him to escape from sure death. Means very dangerous. We cannot go very easily through the jungle. There would be many difficulties when you go through the jungle. But he was very much familiar with the jungle. That's why what he did means he escaped from all the dangers. When he came to the riverbed, he decided to take rest for a while. When he was taking rest, he saw a herd of elephants. passing through the forest. Sher Singh was frightened and felt helpless. He could not do anything. He could neither climb nor run away from that place because he had tied his brother on his back and he slept there itself. Means he sat quietly there itself. Fortunately, the herd of the elephant left. He was escaped from the herd of elephants. And today, let us stop here and we will see the next part of the lesson in our next session. What we had seen today is that the early life of uh, the the about the writer and the characters which comes in this story, that is Sher Singh, Kanwar Singh, then mother of Sher Singh, and then another famous character, father of Sher Singh, that is Sher Singh Bahadur. And we had come across with the names of two places. One is Laldwani and then Kalaghat. And the situation which we came across, that is Kunwar got a stomach pain. He had to be hospitalized. That's why what he mother and this brother Sher Singh tried a lot with home remedies, but it could not work. That's why Sher Singh himself decided to take him to the hospital to Kalaghat, which was 50 kilometers away. But he decided to take him with the shortcut route through the forest, where he had to cross two rivers and then he could reach the hospital. Let us see. Please do read the textbook and come to the next session. We will have very interesting story. What happened next in the story? Let us see that in the next